cost cuts. Negeri Sembilan revokes Datuk Sri titles of former PM and wife. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on News on 2. I'm Rani Fong. The Mass Rail Transit Sungai Buloh Serdang Putrajaya Line MRT2 project will continue after MMC Gamuda agreed to a bigger cost reduction. In a Ministry of Finance statement released today, Minister Lim Guan Eng said that the construction cost of the project has been successfully reduced by 8.82 billion ringgit or 22.4% from 39.35 billion ringgit to 30.53 billion ringgit. Lim said the decision was made after the final round negotiations, which resulted in MMC Gamuda agreeing to increase the cost reduction of the underground works from 2.13 billion ringgit to 3.6 billion ringgit. He also noted that the cabinet has agreed to MMC Gamuda's new offer and the cost rationalization exercise. All above ground stations will continue to be built as planned except for 2 underground stations in Bandar Malaysia North and Bandar Malaysia South, which will be postponed, bringing the total number of stations from the original 35 to 33 now. The minister further said that the final cost will also help reduce fares, which would inevitably increase the use of public transportation in the Klang Valley. The Negeri Sembilan Palace has revoked the awards conferred to former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak and his wife, Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor. The revocation of awards was decided during a special meeting of the Negeri Sembilan Awards and Medals Conferment held at the Istana Besar Seri Menanti in Kuala Pilah. Elaborating further, State Registrar of Awards Dr. Razali Abdul Malik in a statement said the Darjah Seri Utama Negeri Sembilan SPNS conferred on Datuk Sri Najib in 2005 and the Darjah Seri Paduka Tuanku Jaafar yang amat terpuji SPTJ conferred on Datin Sri Rosmah in 2006 were withdrawn with immediate effect. However, the former Premier and his wife still hold the Datuk Sri and Datin Sri titles from other states including Pahang, Melaka, Sabah, Sarawak, Pulau Pinang, Kelantan, Kedah and Perlis. Dr. Razali further noted that the decision was made to safeguard the honour of the Negeri Sembilan Royal Institution. More developments in the 1MDB saga today as Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor and her 2 sons arrived at the office of the Anti-Money Laundering Crime Investigation Team in Kuala Lumpur to facilitate investigation into the misappropriation of funds from the investment company. Datin Sri Rosmah arrived at 9:45 a.m. together with her sons Riza Aziz and Muhammad Nur Rashman to give their statements on the same case. The trio was seen leaving the building 3 hours later at about 1 p.m. Datin Sri Rosmah was previously scheduled to be quizzed by the Anti-Money Laundering Crime Investigation Team yesterday, but the process was postponed to today. On the 4th of October, Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun said the police may call Datin Sri Rosmah to record her statement on various cases including 1MDB. Last June, Federal Commercial Crime Investigation Department CCID Director Datuk Sri Amar Singh Ishar Singh disclosed that the total amount of items seized from residences related to Datuk Sri Najib in May over the 1MDB probe was valued at around 1.1 billion ringgit. The seized items include a cash haul of various currencies, jewellery, 75 branded handbags and watches, as well as designer sunglasses. Former Malaysia External Intelligence Organisation MEIO head Datuk Hassanah Abdul Hamid today failed in her bid to challenge the authorities on her right to legal representation while the custody of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC over the alleged misuse of government funds. High Court Judge Nordin Hassan ruled that the Criminal Procedure Code CPC provisions which Datuk Hassanah claimed had denied her constitutional rights did not discriminate against any person under the authorities' arrest. In his brief judgment, Judge Nordin said sections 28 subsection 8 and 29 subsection 8 of the CPC do not remove any detainee's right to legal representation. They merely suspend it temporarily. He added that the High Court was tied to previous Supreme Court decisions that detainees' right to lawyers could not be immediately exercised. He made no order as to costs in dismissing Datuk Hasanah's suit. Datuk Hasanah was remanded for 5 days in August as part of MACC's investigation into the alleged misappropriation of 50 million ringgit in government funds. She filed the lawsuit last month claiming sections 28 subsection 8 and 28 subsection 9 of the CPC were against articles 5 subsection 3 and 8 of the Federal Constitution on the right to legal representation and equality. Her lawyer, Dato' Shaharuddin Ali, said they would appeal against the decision. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Aziza Wan Ismail attended a two-way meeting with her Vietnamese counterpart, Pham Binh Minh, who is also Vietnam Foreign Minister in Hanoi. The meeting discussed various issues including boosting both nations' economic ties. Also present at the meeting were Deputy Foreign Minister Datuk Marzuki Yahya, Malaysia Ambassador to Vietnam Datuk Muhammad Zamruni Khalis, Women, Family and Community Development Ministry Secretary General Datuk Dr. Rose Lina Lazimi, together with senior government officials. Vietnam is currently Malaysia's 13th largest trading partner in the world and the fourth in ASEAN after Singapore, Thailand and Indonesia. The total trade between the two countries also saw an increase of 15.6% to $8.9 billion from January to August this year, compared to $7.7 billion in 2017. A 55-year-old school principal has been remanded for 3 days from today for allegedly sodomizing two teenagers aged 11 and 13 at a secondary school in Butterworth, Pulau Pinang. The remand order was issued by Butterworth Court Registrar Ahmad Faiz Mat Zain to allow police to conduct investigations on the 54-year-old suspect. After the incident last Tuesday, the two teenagers lodged a report claiming that they were sodomized by a secondary school principal at Permatang Tok Jaya. The victims claimed that they were sodomized while they were at an education program at the school recently. They initially went to Kepala Batas Hospital for a checkup but was then referred to the Seberang Jaya Hospital for further treatment as they sustained injuries on their private parts. One of the victims was also referred to the Pulau Pinang Hospital psychiatric specialist because he was still in a state of trauma. The suspect was detained at home at 10 a.m. yesterday before he was brought to court today. The case is being investigated under Section 377E of the Penal Code and Section 14 of the Sexual Offences Against Children SOAC Act 2017. Police have requested the cooperation of the public to not spread any form of findings in relation to the discovery of a human skeleton in an unoccupied government quarters in Jalan Pesta Bakri in Muar, Johor yesterday. Elaborating further, Muar Police Chief Assistant Commissioner of Police ACP Zaharuddin Rasib said such irresponsible acts could only cause worry and misunderstanding within the society. In a statement released today, ACP Zaharuddin Rasib said police investigations also discovered an identification card near to the skeleton and that a next of kin had confirmed that the identification card belonged to a family member who went missing 2 years ago. He also said a team from the Criminal Investigation Division of Muar District Police Headquarters and a forensic team from the Specialist Hospital Sultanah Fatimah conducted an investigation at the scene and found there were no elements of foul play. An investigative procedure